What is up, people? It is me, Monster58. Welcome back to another video review, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series 86 Voyager class Autobot Blaster as well as Eject. So, this is obviously more or less just a repaint of the original Blaster Kingdom mold that we got a while back, and this is also a figure that's sort of long overdue for my channel. I know I ended up doing a Steeljaw review like a few months to about a year or so ago, and when it comes to that review, I actually stated I don't care for the SS86 one, but when I was looking at Big Bad Toy Store relatively recently, excuse me, Jesus. I just had lunch, so I apologize for that. But when I look at Big Bad Toy Store relatively recently, they did a reissue of the Studio Series 86 Blaster, and I was like, you know what? Let me see if it's worth it. And for me, what I will say is I am actually going to be using this over my Kingdom one, but do I think it's relatively worth getting the mold again after you have the Kingdom one? Well, we'll talk about that as we get into this video. But overall, I do really like it. But let's get into the box here. So you can obviously see in the background, it is more or less that scene from when I know this isn't technically in the movie, but it's from that scene essentially, like in that one episode where the Aerobots go back, and then there's Megatron. They meet them for the first time, the Decepticons, everything like that. But taking a look at the box here, you can see the very nice artwork of Eject as well as Blaster. There, you can obviously see the nice Studio Series Autobot Blaster as well as Eject, the Hasbro logo right there, the Studio Series 86 logo right there. See the Transformers with the Generations logo right there as well. You can see obviously Transformers the movie right there as well. Looks very, very nice. You see some nice artwork here on the side, the same that we see on the front. See some more nice artwork here, the same we saw on the front as well. And then finally, your obligatory product shots on the back with the display base and everything like that. So, when it comes to the box, I think that the box is really nice. It's actually feels pretty sturdy. I also like this part of the box with the 86 in there. But I think they did a really good job, folks. And so, without further ado, alrighty, folks, here we have the Transformers Studio Series 86 Voyager class Autobot Blaster, as well as Eject out of the box and in his boombox mode, and, well, in Eject's cassette mode. And I gotta say, guys, when it comes to how this guy looks, I think he looks pretty solid. I'm really happy with it. This is a good mold before we got the repaint of Blaster overall. And so when it comes to this figure, I'm pretty happy with it. The only thing that I will say is that when it comes to this figure, there is obviously going to be differences between this and the original Kingdom one. And so what we're going to do, because that is obviously going to be the big topic of discussion, we're going to set this guy off to the side and we're going to bring in the Kingdom one. Alrighty, folks, here he is with the Kingdom one. Now, the first things we're going to be comparing are going to be the Eject. So, you can press those buttons there and you can get the ejects out. So you can see the ejects are very different. Obviously, you have the more cartoon accurate one, then you have the transparent one here. They transform the same. So what we're going to do is taking a look at the details. Actually, you can see this one, obviously, the clear one is going to be much more like monocolor with the gold accents. This one has more ability to have more color on it. So you can see the white, the blue, the gold, the Autobot logo right there in the center of the chest, and then you have the gray as well. So to transform these guys, very simple. Just going to flip the head up like this. They're going to pull these and rotate them down like that. And then we're just going to bring the arms out like this. And all you have to do is rotate the head. There's Eject, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing for the original one, so just bring these down, flip the head up as well. There we go, goodness, took me a second. Rotate these arms down after that, and I know I knocked over the new Eject, or the SS86 Eject, because this figure came out a while back. But there we have them in their robot modes, and comparing them, yeah, obviously this one's much better. Plus, in my opinion, this will last longer because it's not transparent plastic all the way. But taking a look at the details of the new Eject, you can see the very nice head sculpt that looks pretty solid overall. For how small it is, Autobot logo on the chest there. Overall, it looks really, really solid, very clean. Now, when it comes to Eject, this is pretty much the best representation we've gotten of him ever. So, articulation, head is on a ball joint, so you can do a full 360. You can do a little bit of wiggle waggle. Arms will do a full 360. You have ball joint at the elbow, so they rotate, they bend at about a little more than 90. No waist articulation, you can kick forward about that far, back about that far, rotation at the upper part at the knee, and then you have a bend at the knee as well. So overall, I think that when it comes to the Eject, obviously that this new one is just better, because when it comes to this one, this wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. The transparent one, they'll balance. The transparent one wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but the major issue is that the fact that it was transparent plastic. And so, the worry about whether this will last a long time is obviously something that was on everybody's mind when it came to this guy. But nice that they have a fully painted plastic one instead of a clear transparent plastic one. So, transform these guys back. You just fold the heads in. You can just rotate these in like so. You just take these, fold them up like that. Oh, whoops, that just came off. And there we go. We got eject back, and then you can just slot that guy right into place. So the same thing here. So just you can turn the head around if or not, fold the head back, rotate the arms in like that. Rotate the legs up like so. Just gotta line this up correctly like that. There we go. All you gotta do is stuff this right in there and close that up. Now, the major thing we're going to look at next is going to be the differences between, obviously, the regular blaster from Kingdom as well as the blaster from SS-86. And the major things you can see that this is all black here. This is just black here in the center. You can see that the gray is different. It's much softer here. And then instead of black for the speakers, they're darker gray. And then you can see they're darker gray for all those black pieces as well. You can also see there is a gray and then red, and then this is both black here. You can see these details here are painted in, while as they are not here. Same thing with some of these details. You can see this part that becomes his back flap piece is all red and then black. You can see they changed it to have some gray and stuff in there. So this was originally red. They painted over it with the gray. Turning on the side, you can see differences again. You can see again the black and the grays that are different there. You can also see that the reds, I will say, are pretty much exactly the same. Maybe the SS-86 one's a tiny bit more vibrant, but not by that much. And swing around here on the back. There's not too much on the back that you can see that's majorly different. The guns are obviously going to be different as well. You can see that the Kingdom one is this black one, and then the new SS-86 one is the darker gray one. But they still have the same pegs and stuff like that. They still feel the same. But yeah, those are the major differences between both of the blasters. But when it comes to their actual mode itself, so we're going to get this one off to the side, get the Kingdom one. It looks really good. I mean, it's representative of what we saw in the cartoon. It looks really, really solid. I'm very happy with it. Now, what I will say is that the original one does, and from Kingdom, does a little bit better job with some of the details, like in particular, like right here, right? I just think that this looks a bit nicer. Not that this looks bad, this looks more cartoon accurate, but I certainly think that the black detailing on the Kingdom one looks a bit better. But other than that, I mean, it's still a fantastic boombox mode overall. I'm a real big fan of this, and this is a really solid figure all around. So for me, when it comes to the boombox mode, the differences and stuff like that, I really do think that this is a really nice update to what we got. Although that, like I said, I do like this detail more, but that's not that this one's bad. It's just that this one has a little bit more detail. So what we're going to do is we're going to set Blaster off to the side here, and we're going to do some size comparisons. Alrighty folks, for the first comparison, here he is with the Transformers Legacy United and Furnac Universe Deluxe Class Magnus. As you can see, when it comes to the size, obviously this isn't going to be super representative of how the actual size would be. But at the end of the day, you can see that Blaster, being a Voyager class, is certainly a tad bit bigger than Deluxe Class Magnus here. So at the end of the day, I think the size is pretty well, and you really see that mainly in his robot mode. Alrighty, folks, and here comes an unexpected comparison, because I found this guy at Walmart yesterday. I'm not joking you, yesterday. Here is Blaster with the Transformers Studio Series 86 Leader Class Soundwave. This is a figure that I just literally picked up yesterday. I've been messing around with him a bit since I got him last night, and I'm really, really excited that I was able to find this guy in store, because I haven't been able to cancel a pre-order for a little bit of time, and so it's nice to be able to cancel a pre-order online. But here he is with Soundwave, and these two look really, really good together. Obviously, being a Leader Class is going to throw people off, and obviously we'll talk about this review soon, because this review will come out relatively soon. But at the end of the day, these two look fantastic together. In my opinion, these are the two that always would square off in terms of, you know, their characters and what they transform into. Is a perfect matchup for one another, and I can't wait to show you their robot modes, because I looked at it last night, and it's really, really cool to see Soundwave and Blaster next to each other in their SS-86 molds. Really, really cool stuff. Alrighty folks, now it's time to get into the transformation, which really isn't that hard. So first things first is we're going to remove the gun on the back and set that off to the side here. I know you guys have probably seen this transformation already, but I haven't reviewed this mold on my channel, so I'm going to show it anyway. You want to split these and rotate them all the way around. Then you want to take this entire section. You want to start by lifting this up a bit and then splitting these legs here, like that. Rotate them around like so. Rotate them all the way around. Then what you're going to want to do is you'll see that there's a tab hole or tab on the back here. You want to rotate the what was the boombox handle. Then you want to flip it down. Then you'll notice that there is a tab hole there. It'll tab right into place like that. So you rotate this around and then you just tab this right into place like so. And then from here you fold both. You fold this down, fold this in. Same thing here, fold this down, fold this in. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to rotate the legs so that they're facing these red bits here, and then you're going to want to fold the feet out. I like to rotate them on their ankle joints, then fold out the feet. It just makes it a bit easier. And then all you want to do here is just rotate this entire section all the way around, and then fold that butt flat back down. And then from here, it's very, very simple. I'm going to rotate this all the way up. Next thing on the legs, you just want to push these speakers in and rotate them around on both sides. And then you want to rotate these down, fold the fists out, then just rotate the arm all the way around. Same thing here on the other side. Rotate that around, and then from here, fold this panel out. And we'll reach in here, grab the head, fold the head out. And well, ladies and gentlemen, here we have the Transformers Studio Series 86 Voyager class blaster in his robot mode. Alrighty, folks, and so when it comes to the looks of Blaster here in this robot mode, there's obviously going to be differences, and so very similarly to when we did the earlier in the review when I compared them right away, we're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to set Blaster off to the side here, and we're going to bring in the Kingdom one. Alrighty, folks, here he is with the Kingdom one, and so we're taking a look at it. The major difference that you'll notice is in the face and on the chest. Obviously, with the Kingdom one, you have that transparent plastic window there, and then on the SS86 one, we just have that gray, which is much more cartoon accurate. Same thing with the faces. When it comes to the faces, the face on the Kingdom one is mainly silver. You get that nice white on the SS86 one, which is obviously more cartoon accurate. And then you have the major differences, which I more or less pointed out to you in the boombox mode. At the end of the day, it's really the grays as well as the blacks instead of the grays. So you can see all of the differences. You can see the black on the thighs in the Kingdom one versus the darker gray on the SS86 one, the black speakers, the subs, the black feet, the black toes versus the gray ones in the SS86 ones. So for the most part, when it comes to it, although that the differences really aren't too big, when you're comparing it to the cartoon, they are decently substantial in that way of comparing it to the cartoon. Sure, like I said, I think that both of these figures are perfectly acceptable for you to have as a blaster in your collection, which is why for such the longest time, even though the SS86 one came out, I never bothered to get it. But if you do want more cartoon accuracy, what I will say is yes, the SS86 one is absolutely more cartoon accurate than the Kingdom one, but you wouldn't go wrong with either one. And so I don't think that either or is necessarily worse or better than the other. It's just more or less personal preference, right? And I do like that you have that option, especially because since they're the same mold, it's really just the paint schemes that you're more or less concerned about. What I will say, though, is that because Eject with the Kingdom one is that transparent plastic, I do think you do get a little bit more value out of the SS86 one, because not only do you get the more cartoon accuracy, but you also get an Eject they wouldn't be necessarily worried about falling apart as the years went on. Now, I'm not saying that the Eject in the transparent one for the Kingdom one is particularly bad, and that it will break, it's guaranteed to break, but I would rather not worry about that risk than have that risk be able to be happened at all. So if you're looking for a blaster and have to worry about the Eject breaking, obviously the SS86 one's the way to go, but again, you wouldn't go wrong, like I said, with either one. And so when it comes to this, we're going to grab the Kingdom one to get him out of there. So we're going to set Blaster and keep him off to the side there, and we're going to put a picture of how he actually appeared in the cartoon. And I think when it comes to how he appeared in the cartoon, this is pretty damn good. Like I said, it's more accurate to how the show was and the movie and everything like that, and so I'm pretty damn happy with how this looks. So taking a look at the head sculpt here, you can see this does look very, very good. Really like it. The white looks nice, brings out the blue in his eyes. The white for the head crest is really nice. The nice Autobot logo there, you can see the nice gray here as well. And then when you press this button again, you can obviously show Eject. Now, just like the original mold or the first version of this mold, yeah, this doesn't exactly like to eject the best, right? It doesn't like to, the spring doesn't work necessarily the best. Sometimes it comes out all the way, and sometimes it just bothers to not to, so it just happens, right? But all the details are really, really nice. I do like how this guy looks like. You can even see some nice red detailing here behind the feet, which is a really nice little touch here. And he's very, very clean. He's very tall. Overall, when it comes to this figure, I really think that they did a fantastic job with recreating Blaster in toy form. And so what we're going to do is we're going to set him off to the side, and we are going to be doing our other size comparisons. Alrighty, folks, here he is with the Transformers Legacy United Infernac Universe Deluxe Class Magnus. As you can see, this is what I was talking about in the vehicle mode. Obviously, you'll get a much taller robot mode, and this is where that Voyager class really comes out in this guy. He is definitely a Voyager scale when it comes to his actual robot size, and that's really nice to see. You can see that, obviously, Magnus being an average deluxe size, as I've said over and over again in many of my videos, you can see the big size difference between these two, and that's pretty cool. Now, obviously, the bigger deluxes are going to be closer to Blaster size, but even the ones like Inferno, as well as like Trailbreaker, like those molds, they're still shorter than Blaster, and that's nice to see here, because that's his actual size. I always thought, if I'm not mistaken, he was one of the biggest Autobots in his actual robot mode, which is funny considering his vehicle mode, his alt mode, just like Perceptor, is arguably one of the smallest. So, really, really cool to see that. And finally, folks, like I told you, the one comparison I didn't expect to do with this guy, but we ended up finding this guy in store. Here he is with the Transformers Studio Series 86 Leader Class Soundwave. As you can see, these two look really good together. The issue I had with the original Netflix Soundwave is that he was shorter than Blaster. Soundwave should be eye to eye with Blaster, and here he really is eye to eye, and these two look really, really good together. I'm really, really happy to have these two as like a possible display. And as we're obviously not going to talk that much about Soundwave, but what I will say is, I'm going to tell you this right now. This is by far the best mainline Soundwave, in my opinion, that we've ever gotten. It's absolutely incredible. But regardless, these two look fantastic together. And in reference to Blaster, his size is really, really good. Obviously, the size was already good when he was released in Kingdom, but that's only further accentuated here, especially when you place him next to Soundwave, which just came out. So if you're wondering when I'm recording this, by the way, I'm recording this on December 16th, 2025. So I got him yesterday, so December 15th. So if you guys are looking, definitely look in your stores, because I got it in my store. So definitely be on the lookout for this Soundwave. Alrighty, folks, with that all out of the way, it's time to get into the articulation. And Blaster's pretty damn well articulated. So the head can go back and forth, can do full 360. You can do a little bit of wiggle wag, a little bit up and down as well, because he's on the ball joint. Full 360 at the shoulders. You can go out, you can go in. You have like about 90 at the elbow. No wrist articulation besides the actual transformation part. You do have full waist articulation, which is absolutely fantastic. And then you have the butt flap, which can go up, and then you can kick forward about that far. You can kick back about that far. Bend 90 at the knee, rotation the upper part of the thigh, and you have some wicked ankle rocker pivot like that. So you have some really good ways to pose this guy, and that is really, really nice for this figure. And what I will say too is, messing around with him, the joints are very tight. Not that the original Kingdom ones weren't, but these feel very nice. Not so tight to where you're worried about accidentally breaking something tight, but they're tight enough to where they don't feel like they're really going to fall apart, especially over a long period of time, especially sitting on the shelf. So really, really cool stuff. Really like Blaster. Very nice articulation overall. Alrighty, folks, now it's time to get into the reverse transformation. Now, like with the transformation getting to robot mode, this really isn't a bad transformation at all. It's actually pretty fun, and I do like it. It's very similar to Soundwave, but considering they're very similar when it comes to what they are, a boombox versus a cassette player, I'm not really shocked. So, first things first, we're going to remove the gun, obviously, and that's in there pretty tightly, actually. We're going to straighten them all out and just get everything straightened out in general. First things first, I like to do is you take the head, and then you can fold this panel back, rotate the head in, and then, whoops. No, that was dumb by me to rotate the head off to the side like that. And I rotate it, but rotate that in. Place the, fold the panel back in. Fold the hands next. You're going to do that. Then you're going to untab them here. Rotate them all the way around. Then rotate them around like this. Do the same thing here. So you're going to fold this up, rotate this all the way around, and then as you're doing that, you can rotate these around like so. And then all you have to do is keep them there. And then you can rotate this section around like so. Then for each leg, fold these panels out like so. Then you're going to fold this down. And then what I like to do is take this, and then you can fold the speaker in. Fold the foot up as well. Then what you're going to want to do is rotate this so that this peg is rotated this way, so that's facing outward. And then what's nice about it is that you'll see that there is a peg hole right in there, and then that is where that peg will go. So when you rotate this up like this, you're going to try your best to line this up. Then you're just going to rotate this, and then this is the hardest part, in my opinion. You have to get this fist to go into this cavity right there, like the fist right there, and so that can get a little bit annoying. I had this on both versions of the mold so far. You just have to line that up correctly like that. Then do the same on this side. So again, you're going to fold this out, take this, rotate this around, and then fold this down. And then you're going to rotate this so that this peg is facing outward. Then you're going to line up with, with the arm itself. Then make sure everything lines up. I'll fold the foot. I forgot to fold the foot. Just gotta there. Tab that into place. And what you're going to want to do is just rotate these around, and these will slide and sort of tab right into place like that. Then you can take the gun, then you can just place it here on the back like so. And ladies and gentlemen, here we have the Transformers Studio Series 86 Voyager class blaster back in his boombox mode. And so guys, for my final and concluding thoughts on the Transformers Studio Series 86 Voyager class blaster, this guy is pretty solid. Now, the main question is whether you would get this over the Kingdom one, or if you have the Kingdom one, whether it's worth getting. What I will say is if you have the Kingdom one, I don't necessarily think it is worth it to get this one. The only major reason I would say it is because the eject in this is a solid plastic rather than the transparent plastic that we saw with the Kingdom one. And for me, even though that I don't think I've really seen any ejects necessarily fall apart because of the transparent plastic, at the end of the day, I would rather have the security of not having to worry about eject possibly falling apart in the future, and instead being assured that this should last a much longer time, considering it isn't that transparent plastic. But when it comes to the actual differences in the paint and everything like that, it depends on what you prefer at the end of the day. I really do like the silver and stuff and the darker black, and there's some details on the original Kingdom one that I like a bit better than this, but this is certainly more cartoon accurate, and this is what I actually would prefer for my display, because I want to go for cartoon accuracy, which is something I know people are talking about with the new Studio Series 86 Thundercracker as well, that's coming out relatively soon. And so my point here is this, is at the end of the day, it is really just personal preference, but both figures are really, really good. So what's really bad about this mold? Nothing in particular. Maybe the transformation, sometimes getting those arms to line up, is kind of annoying, and at the end of the day, the spring-loaded gimmick for his actual, tape, part of his boombox mode, which obviously translates into his robot mode, really doesn't operate the best, but overall, it's very well painted. The actual alt mode is really, really nice, has a lot of nice painted in detail and molded in detail. Transformation is not hard, but also pretty fun, and in addition to that, when you get to the robot mode, you really do get that cartoon accuracy, especially from this SS86 one, and I'm really, really happy with that. And obviously the reverse transformation along with the articulation are pretty solid overall. I really do like the articulation. You get this guy into some really nice poses, and he obviously comes with his gun, and he comes with eject. And both of those are pretty solid as well, to have almost all of the cassette bots. I think I have all of them at this point prior to the 86 movie, so that's really cool. I think it was a Rat-Bat, Buzzsaw, Laserbeak, Ravage, Ramhorn, Eject, and Steeljaw. I think those are the major ones that we needed, right? And so at the end of the day, out of a 10, I'm going to give this guy an 8. He's a really solid figure, really good. My only reason for taking off a little bit of an extra point is mainly I don't see that this guy being all that much more worth it than the Kingdom one if you have him already. But again, it's personal preference at the end of the day. Would I recommend this figure? Yes. I still think that it is a good figure. I would just question it and really think about what you really need if you have the Kingdom one. If you don't have the Kingdom one, absolutely going to pick this guy up. But if you do have the Kingdom one, then I would spend a little more time making that decision. So I did pick mine up on the Big Bad Toy Store, so leave a link in the description of that. I'll also leave links down below to Hasbro Pulse, as well as Amazon if you guys wish to go on those retailers and pick this guy up instead on those ones. But if you're deciding to hunt this guy IRL, I don't know if there's going to be leftovers. I don't know if stores are going to be doing retrains of this guy. But look at your third-party toy stores, anything like that in your local hometowns and whatnot. Look at other places online if you wish to do so, or IRL. You can do, look at your local Walmart's, Target, see if they end up restocking this guy. I haven't seen this guy restocked at all. Maybe he did at some point, but for the most part, I would look online or in your third-party hobby shops and toy shops. So if you do decide to hunt IRL, I definitely wish you the best of luck in hunting that way. I hope you do find him if you wish to find him. And so that's really it for the review. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like, comment, rate, and subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Also follow me on the socials. Those will be linked in the description below. And with that, guys, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video review, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.